Siddharth, where are we on that trade deal? Can we pick up the thread from where Gina Raimondo and Piyush Goyal were earlier? Or does it actually need to start from the beginning?
I think from 2014, we had one phase of sort of India not looking at trade deals. Then closer after 2019, we've seen a rethink. I think it's now time for delivery to happen. And clearly, India-US FTA would perhaps provide the right spark from
but
abroad.
But FTA is not on the table. The free trade agreement, it's a limited trade deal which is being spoken about.
Eventually, it has to lead there. There are steps when till you reach there. I think that would be a great part of India's strategy to deal with a world where Mr. Trump, through a tweet a day, will kind of set trade.
No, but remember, in the trade deal that we did with the Europeans, it included a $100 billion commitment on the part of the Europeans to invest in India. So that's Europe committing to invest in India. With Trump, the equation is different. He says, hey, you want me to invest in your country? I'm expecting all of you to invest in my country. So the whole equation and the dynamic is different.
But it'd be interesting to know whether the Modi government has made a significant shift in strategy. Because over 10 years, we've been very slow when it comes to trade deals. Or we've stayed out. We've stayed out even of regional alliances like RCEP. The question therefore...
no, and just as well, Rajdeep.
No, but there are those who say that, look,
if you've got so
one of the criticisms of this government in the past has been that it's been awfully protectionist. Now you've got a situation where you're dealing with a Donald Trump who wants to be, as Ajit Ranade puts, completely transactional. How are you going to deal with a transactional United States with a completely uncertain world when your instincts are protectionist?
Rajdeep, it's a very simple thing. It's like Virat Kohli going out and batting now. He can't function outside the off stump. India can't function on many of its medium enterprises which are not really competitive. The PLI scheme is actually a subsidy to the industry to overcome all the issues. We have a high power cost, high land cost, high capital cost, high compliance cost. The second part of the story is more important. Why are we hesitant to enter any kind of trade deal? Is because we have a huge agricultural sector which needs to be protected, which is at the bottom of the pyramid. So moment you sign a deal with either Canada, UK, Europe or US, you open up, they all want to export their agricultural produce to India. And that is a problematic thing. So every time you have this fits and starts thing. This is not new to India.
So what's the way ahead? What's the way ahead?
You make your domestic economy competitive.
Part as a problem, because the good thing about transactional entities is they tell you what they want. They'll be upfront about it. You can make deals with them.
Let them export Harleys to India. Reduce taxation on Harley Davidson. There's no problem.
The way American corporations are exiting China, I'm sure they would want to enter India. They would want to do business here. And our government can very well...
So how do we respond? How should we be responding to a Donald Trump who's going to, over the next 3 months or 4 years, be disruptive? Are we going to how do you counter someone who instinctively is disruptive?
Rajdeep, we cannot overstate the Trump factor. Rajdeep, we should not overstate the Trump factor. I don't think it's possible for Donald Trump in 4 years to reverse 40 years of outsourcing. But the larger point is, Make in India, which is still the Modi government strategy for Atmanirbharta versus Make in America. How does that play off is the bigger question. But if you think Trump is going to sort of suddenly change 40 years of outsourcing, that's not happening. We spoke to many industry leaders in Davos. The GCC story is going to continue in India. It's going to grow even much bigger than what it is currently. Therefore, the focus, I would argue, is what does this government do? What does this budget do for 60% of GDP that comes from personal accounts? See, if you break down your GDP, please understand, 60% personal, 30% that happens on account of private asset formation, capital asset creation, and only 10% for government. The key thing that needs to be watched out is how does the government address that 60%?
So the point that Punita made, that this budget is about you strengthen your domestic economy, then you can deal with the Donald Trump. Otherwise, if you don't have the kind of the structures in place that will strengthen your domestic economy, it makes it that much more easier for Donald Trump.
Let me get a word from Naveen Raheja. Mr. Raheja,
we should do what
your expectations from this budget and what you'd like to see the finance minister do, particularly with an eye on trying to boost demand in the real estate sector.
See, let me tell you, real estate sector is a growth driver for any economy, and we have seen that whenever the real estate prices start going up, overall economic thrust comes in the Indian economy, and that same has happened globally as well. Now, going ahead with this, we also know that in our country we have a large population of youngsters who will be now looking at the housing. So what I expect is that recently, whatever we have seen, the whatever launches and whatever projects have come, they have come in a higher segment, which 90% of the population is not able to afford. Once again, we are again into the same spiral, which happened during the last almost 50 years. So if we really want a organized growth of the country, we need to address these, and for this we do need to give some incentives and some hand-holding to the people. I mean, there can be various ways how to handhold this segment, how to incentivize developers. Cost of land has gone so much, it is not possible to bring down the cost of land. The only way is, it is not possible to bring down the cost of even inputs also. There are more than 250 inputs which go into it, not possible. What is possible is that there is some special incentive. It can be by way of reducing GST or giving GST input credit. It can be by way of increasing income tax exemption limit on the interest part. That's from maybe 2 lakhs to 10 lakhs or whatever is possible, so that people get incentivized for purchasing housing. Then to give additional FAR and focus upon redevelopment of the old areas, because buying land and developing is become too much expensive. So FAR is free, vertical development is free, but horizontal development is almost difficult and impossible.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raheja, for joining us.